Google, IBM, Watson, l'IA pain béni pour les GAFA qui déboulent dans la radiologie.
La médicale vous présente le journal du RSNA.
What is the general vision of Google for radiology and radiologists?
Yeah, I think there's a great deal of opportunity. We're fortunate at Google to have done a lot of general work in computer vision, technological infrastructure, and things like that. And so over time, we've built up a lot of experience in that world generally, obviously a lot for our consumer products. We started building up a lot of that capacity. We started looking into additional fields to learn and provide impact, and that's when we started settling on looking at medical imaging. And one of the biggest areas in medical imaging is obviously radiology.
This is the reason you're here with the booth.
So a lot of that technological capacity is focused on artificial intelligence and computer vision. And so when we're looking at things in Google Search and Google Photos, that same type of technology, we've begun to learn how to apply it to medical problems like radiology, and that's why we're here talking about a lot of it today.
Let's go specific with one example.
So one of the results that we're presenting here at the conference has been related to our chest x-ray work. And in that work, we've really been focusing on how do we deal with the fact that a lot of chest x-ray images have subjective labels when a radiologist is providing it. And a lot of our work was focused on how can we create consensus amongst radiologists so that the labels that we're actually using to evaluate these AIs is consistent in a way that we can actually have a reference standard that we can compare, not just amongst ourselves, but to also future researchers who are in the community. So in addition to the labels that we've ended up collecting through this process, we've also shared the labels that we've collected with the research community at large for one of the well-known public research data sets that have already been used for chest x-rays in the community. And we're hoping that this will be an excellent reference standard that we can have an apples-to-apples comparison across multiple research results going forward. I think the goal here is to move the state of the research forward, and one of the big bottlenecks to date has really been good reference standards for what labels are interesting. So we decided to focus on 4 different conditions that we can actually evaluate from a chest x-ray by itself. It doesn't require any other clinical metadata, and those conditions, pneumothorax, nodules and masses, airspace opacities, and fractures are ones that we feel by having these consistent labels, we can end up having better comparisons, and that will drive research forward as a whole.
What is the next step for Google?
I think it's taking a lot of this early stage research and finding additional collaborators around the world and beginning to test how these models can begin to integrate into clinical workflow and get feedback and continue to improve the models and the products that we can build there.
So this is a chest x-ray, and we can run our model. And the output up here is what our model's producing. The labels down here were collected by a panel of 3 radiologists, each reviewing these images independently, and then having a follow-up discussion to resolve any discrepancies. And what this enabled is, this follow-up discussion allows for some initial documentation of any potential findings that were only discovered by a single radiologist. And by having that on the record, we're able to get more accurate labels and reach a better consensus. And so these labels are ones that we are sharing with the community at large to advance our research, and it's actually enabled radiologists performing AI models.
How many results are we talking about in your database?
We used, for this, we've trained on over 750,000 chest x-rays, and our evaluation for this was about just under 5,000 images, where about 2,000 of those were used for this final evaluation of our model to compare against radiologists, and the remaining almost 3,000 were used for our initial training and validation as we were developing and iterating on the model.
Is this done, or is this always in progress?
I think there's, as the field advances, there are going to be new techniques that come out there. I feel like this is a step forward in a larger research story that's existing, and we hope to be a part of that story by enabling the research community and removing one of the existing barriers, which has been a lack of accurate labels.
Sarah, you're a brand new customer of IBM, and you're going to use soon AI. What are your expectations?
Well, in the UK there's a national shortage of radiologists, and also imaging has become such a key component of the management of all patients in all specialities. So our workload is much higher than it was, say, 10, 15 years ago. So and also with an ageing population, the data is much more complex to analyse. So what we're hoping with AI is that we all are working in a much more pressured environment, and the potential to make mistakes is greater than it used to be. So what we're looking to achieve with using Clinical Review 3 is to have some kind of security net, and it's mainly for patient safety, so that if there has been a mistake that's been missed or a discrepancy, instead of it not presenting till much later when the patient has got symptoms from whatever has been missed, we'll know much more quickly in real time, and we can avoid any patient harm. So for us it's really about a patient safety process in a very, very busy, pressurised environment.
Okay, so your first concern was safety. And then what about the workflow?
I think what's good with the collaboration with IBM is that we've also identified areas in which we think artificial intelligence could help the patient flow. So for instance, the management of ED patients and plain films overnight. So in the future we hope to work more collaboratively with other projects with IBM, which will definitely impact on patient flow and make that process much smoother as well.
So Mandy, what is the general philosophy of IBM working with other companies in the field of radiology?
So Watson Health Imaging has been involved in medical imaging and radiology for quite some time, and we have a deep passion for the impact that technology like Watson can have in this space. Medical imaging is one of the fastest growing data sets, and it's something where there's a really natural position for deep learning to be able to create value.
So it's all about collaboration with other companies such as Gerbe, for example.
Absolutely. So Gerbe is a longtime partner of ours. We last year actually talked a lot about a partnership we have with them specifically focused on liver cancer. And this year we are incredibly proud to announce that we've extended our partnership and are now focused on prostate cancer as well.
What's brand new today?
This year's a big year for us. So in addition to the announcement that we had around Gerbe, we have also announced general availability of Clinical Review 3, which is something that has been in the works for quite some time, and we're so proud of. It's the initial image analysis offering that Watson Health has built, really tailored towards providing a safety net, because we know that as humans, we make mistakes and we miss things. And Clinical Review is a really easy way for an institution to be able to start to adopt AI and start to build it into the workflow and learn from the things that they may miss.
What is the need of the customer today? Is it more about workflow or is it more about clinical stuff, regarding AI? What are they waiting from AI?
There is no shortage of opportunity around the places where AI can create value, and some of the places where we're seeing Watson Health from a broad standpoint focus are around areas like automation, administrative tasks. But from a Watson Health Imaging standpoint, we've really focused a lot on clinical decision support. So if you look at our portfolio and the areas where we've invested, patient synopsis is a great example. What we've done around contextual summarization. It's hard to distill and serve up data to a radiologist that they need in order to make decisions in a way that's efficient. That's a problem people are looking to solve, and we've worked on solving it. Another area where we're seeing a really common thread is being able to address the shortage of radiologists. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. And when you pair that with the fact that the amount of data that is presented to them and the complexity of the studies that are being presented is only increasing, that's a place for a really material product, and it's one of the reasons why we believe so much in what we're doing in clinical review.
Do you have any feedback so far from your customer or from radiologists? What is their take about AI? Are they afraid of AI? Do you use AI? What's going on?
So a couple of years ago, I think we were very much in the place of AI is new, it's coming, what does it mean? What I've seen, even in the early parts of the show so far, is that we're now moving into the world of what does it look like to really adopt this technology and embrace it into the workflow. I think we're transitioning into a new level of maturation where we're talking about integrating, and we're talking about how it makes us better, because I think we've gotten past the point of saying, oh, it's new and maybe we should be a little bit afraid. I don't think that that's the case at all anymore. I think we're acknowledging that these are really hard problems to solve and they're going to take time, and that people need help, right? The fact that we're not keeping up with the studies that are coming through in a way that's efficient and that mistakes are as prevalent as they are, just because of human nature and the burden of time and data, it means that we need to do something like AI together.
La médicale vous a présenté le journal du RSNA.